guessing he's one of the happiest football fans in the country at the moment. It's either happiest or nervous. Well, let's ask him. Let's speak to Robbie Lyle from AFTV. What is it? Is it, oh, come on, lads, are the nerves kicking in, Rob?
I don't think the nerves are quite kicking in yet, but I think, I don't know how I'm going to be able to cope as we get sort of nearer towards the end of the season. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying, how we're playing, game in, game out. So, but I feel, when it starts to come down to crunch time and hopefully we're still where we are, I think, the nerves will really, it's going to be horrible.
Listen, you're going to win it by 20 points.
well, that would be brilliant. That would be brilliant if we could do something like that. But we are being chased by, the ultimate chasers, isn't it, in Manchester City. You can never discount them. Pep Guardiola. They beat us last week, even though we made a lot of changes for the game. But listen, I just don't think you can underestimate a team like them. They're just so good. They've got such a good squad. But we're looking good at the moment. I like the business that we did in January, how we strengthened. So I think we've really got a good chance of winning the league. And it would be amazing for the fans of Arsenal that, we've suffered a lot over the last, say, 15 years. We haven't won a title since 2004. So, we've suffered a lot since we moved to the new stadium. So if we can get over the line with a title, I really do think that, there could be more in the future.
We'll talk about that in a second. I'm just looking, it's February the 15th, isn't it? Home to City. They've sort of stuck the game in again. I mean, it's not even a 6 point. I'm not saying it's a title decider, but it's key, isn't it? Simple as that.
Yeah, it's a key game. I think more for them. If it still stays and we've still sort of got, the points gap that we've got at the moment, then it'd be more major for them, because if we were then to beat them at home, they would really be in trouble. But then, if they shorten the points gap before that, and they could then possibly come and close in on us. So I think the games leading up to it are very important for us as well.
Yeah.
But, that game is going to be absolutely huge. We played them twice because we haven't played them yet. Both games are absolutely huge. But I think the one for us in particular at home, because I remember we played them last year, I felt that we should have got something out of that game. We played really well, but then we went down to 10 men. I think last week when we played them in the FA Cup, first half we were much the better team. And I really do think at home this season we've been brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to that game.
Do you know what? Even as I'll say a neutral in this, any football fan, if they're honest, would say, wow, you just got to enjoy watching Arsenal. It's almost like a privilege to watch, isn't it? They're fantastic.
Yeah, no, we've been fantastic. And you know what? Fans haven't said that about us for a very long time. I remember
which is
Wenger.
understandable in fairness, but this is special, isn't it? I think it is anyway.
Yeah, no, we're playing a brilliant brand of football. It's really attacking. It's really exciting. All the players are really carrying out the instructions what the manager gives them, and the manager as well. I think what he's done and how he's transformed this team, he deserves so much credit. I think he's done a brilliant job since he's come in. He's had to overcome a lot of issues at Arsenal. They've showed a lot of faith in him, and he's delivering now. And I really like the way he's brought about that sort of connection between the fans and the football club.
Has he surprised you?
He has surprised me. Yeah, he has. I remember when we brought him in, I was thinking to myself, we should have went for a more experienced manager at the time because we was in such a mess. He came in that first season and he won the FA Cup. And straight away, I think that FA Cup's so significant because it brought him a lot of credit in the bank. You hear a lot of people sometimes, I think quite falsely, say that, the year after all the fans wanted him out. They didn't. The year after, when we finished 8th, but we got to the semi-finals of the Europa League, I think, fans were, he made a few mistakes, but he had a lot of credit in the bank because he'd won that FA Cup. So there was a lot of credit there. I think then the following season, when we got off to that horrible start at the start of the season when we lost the first 3 games, obviously there was a lot of fans doubting him. There was some fans saying that maybe we should make a change. But then I think once he won the following 2 games against Norwich and then, of course, against Tottenham at home, he then did very, very well after that. And I think he really has earned the trust of the fans. So he surprised me. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he's been. And he really has. All the things he said he was going to do when he came in, he's delivering on those. When he said that there were non-negotiable things, and, you know, when it comes to Arsenal, he stuck to that. When he said that he's going to bring the fans and the team closer, he stuck to that. When he said that if a player doesn't want to play for Arsenal, then I'll get rid of them, they won't play for it, he stuck to that. So, you've got to have faith in him.
There's no doubt the Pep influence has rubbed off, hasn't it? Even to the, I mean, my favourite player this season, without a question, is Zinchenko. I just love him. I loved him before. I loved him when he plays for the Ukraine, when he plays in midfield. All my pals, whenever we watch, it's Zinchenko. You know, even to the point where he puts Zinchenko into that sort of midfield, drops him into midfield, which I still think nobody's picked up on, which Pep was doing. Do you see a Pep? You must see a Pep influence.
Yeah, there's a massive Pep influence, even in the style of what he plays. You know what I mean? Which is, no matter what team he plays against, he's looking to attack. He's not a pragmatic manager. He's a sensible manager. He's a manager that's looking to get on the front foot against teams. And I can see a lot of the traits from Pep Guardiola. He's a winner. He's an absolute winner, Mikel Arteta. You can see that he's obsessed with winning. And, you know, and also that he expects the players to be on, you know, tip-top fitness and really dedicate their life to their craft. And that's very similar to Pep Guardiola. So I think there's a lot of similarities between the two. Let's hope he wins as many things as Pep, and then we've got a great manager.
Listen, we want to talk about AFTV, but I saw a fantastic piece you did with Righty I don't know, it was the other day, when you were picking your all-time Arsenal team. How far do you go back with them? What was your first Arsenal team that you kind of remember?
My first Arsenal team that I kind of remember would have been the sort of the '89 team. I mean, remember teams before that, but the one that stood out was the '89 team that went to Liverpool and won the league there. I mean, that team always.
It's up for grabs now, Rob. It's up for grabs.
It's up for grabs now. Michael Thomas, you know, I remember very early on when I was doing AFTV, I met him, and he was very complimentary about the channel, and I always remember that he was such a nice guy. And I said to him, I go, "You give me one of my greatest moments as an Arsenal fan," you know. So that '89 team, they were a wonderful team.
Can I just ask you then, because the one I've been privileged to work with him, and I love him. It's simple as that, Frank McClintock. And you picked Frank McClintock in your team. Right, he went for Bold and Adams. You went for Adams and Frank McClintock at the back. Now, why Frank? I mean, I'd be here all day talking about how great I think he is, but why Frank?
Because of the leadership qualities that Frank McClintock had, you know what I mean, as a captain and a leader, you know, and I was just like, if you've got him and Tony Adams, that leadership, those two at the back, I mean, come on, you can't get 2 better centre halves than that. That'd be so commanding, you know. But I love Frank McClintock. I remember one time when I was a kid, at that time I lived in Luton, and I was walking down a road one day, and a car pulled up next to me and was asking me directions to somewhere. And I said, yeah, if you turn left down there and go right, that's the right. And then I looked, and I said to him, "You're Frank McClintock." He goes, yeah. And I couldn't believe it. It's just so random, you know. But Frank McClintock was an absolute legend at Arsenal, and what a centre back he was.
Brilliant player. Okay, AFTV, you're a trailblazer, aren't you? You've created a monster that the world has taken on. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've been a real sort of disruptor in the sort of sports field with the way in which we've done things. You know, I mean, our focus has always been from day one on the fans, and all about giving fans a chance to have their say. And I think nobody had really done it in the way in which we've done it until we came along. And now you see a lot of people doing what we do, and it's created a whole sort of industry of people doing football content by using social media platforms. And yeah, you've had fans who've become, their own presenters and their own producers, and it's fantastic.
It's bigger than TV, isn't it, now? Nobody watches TV anymore.
Well, I think that's true. Because I study my kids a lot of times. I've got a son of 13, a daughter of 15. They hardly watch TV.
Same with mine. Same with mine.
They're on TikTok, they're on YouTube, they on Instagram. TV, they barely watch it. So we're on the right platforms when it comes to what we're doing. And, the beauty of what we do on AFTV is that it's known around the world, because we don't have to have the rights to football and all of our content is original content. Our content goes right around the world. It's not geo-blocked in this territory or that territory. So, like my face is known around the world because of all the content that gets shared. So, for instance, when I was over in the World Cup in Qatar, I was getting stopped as much as I get stopped here. It was crazy. But the social media platforms has really enabled us to really sort of cause a bit of a revolution in how football content is consumed.
Be honest, you'd have to be Nostradamus to have predicted that. You would have done to predicted that happening. But I sort of go back. I mean, I still work for Sky Sports, but who would have thought that 4 blokes sitting in a studio watching screens on a Saturday afternoon would have been a success? I mean, if you'd have said that going back, people would have thought you're mad.
Exactly, and that's why sometimes you've got to try things. Listen, I never knew it would be as successful as it is now. I always thought to myself when I started it that it could do well, because I'd seen other people at the time doing stuff on social media. I've got a friend of mine who's got like a boxing channel, and he had his boxing channel IFL TV out at that time. And I saw what he was doing with boxing. And I was like, you know what, I think this could work with football. So I knew to myself that if we did it right, it could be a success. But honestly, I never knew, it would be what it's grown into today and what it's sort of spurned. It's been fantastic. And some of the opportunities that it's opened up for me, it's been brilliant.
There was obviously a gap in the market. I mean, I've got a quote here. We've all had enough of the so-called pundits, most of whom aren't even at games. I mean, you tapped into something. There was a need, wasn't there? There was crying out for a fan's need, that either by luck, by design, or whatever, you just hit on something.
Yeah, it's 2 things that used to kind of annoy me. So, like, I used to see I watch football 24/7, not just Arsenal. I watch all games. I'm a lover of football, and it really used to annoy me that, like, sometimes you hear pundits talking, and it's obvious that they're not really, they might have played for the club back in the day, but some of the things they said, I'm like, you're obviously not going to Arsenal games week in, week out, or you wouldn't have said that. And listen, their job, it was their job to play for Arsenal in the past, but now they're not. And then the other thing that used to annoy me as well is that I'd see a lot of times you'd have programs on TV and they'd have fans there sometimes in the studio, but the fans were just almost like mannequins. They were just there with their shirts on, but they never said anything, never gave any opinions. And I was like, when you go to the pub after a game, when you get on your phone or WhatsApp or whatever, we're constantly having conversations and talking about the game. And, we've all got so many good opinions. So I'm like, why do we never hear any of those? I think really the only platform you did used to hear some fans was like maybe Talk Sport. So I was just like, if we could create this in video where fans have a chance to have their say, I feel that this could go down well. I feel that people will share this. And luckily, that's what sort of happened.
It's fascinating because there's no doubt when you started, you were sort of like, revolutionary. You're kind of a bit maverick. You're on the outside. Have you become mainstream? Is there a danger that you've become part of the establishment?
And so I'm not part of the establishment still. I mean, listen, I make appearances on Sky and BBC and stuff like that. So, you know, I feel that, you know, they're very important platforms. You know what I mean? There's space for everybody. So, but really my focus is on AFTV and my other channel, which is dsrsports, which is all football, which is really, really flying at the moment. A new channel, which is like.
Tell me about that, Rob. I was going to ask you now. Tell for people who don't know, you've kind of expanded the it's almost the same, not the same premise, but you've extended into other sports, and then of course you've got like the YouTuber boxing, which is just going through the roof, kind of thing. Yeah. So tell us about the new channels.
Well, the new channel's called dsrsports, and that stands for Don Robbie, right? Because when I first started, people used to say it was first of all called the Don Robbie channel, but then I changed it so it's dsrsports. And basically on that channel, it's just all in particular football, although we're expanding into a lot of other sports. Like you said, we do some boxing on there, F1, but primarily Premier League football at the moment. And basically, you know, it's like what we do on AFTV, but for all football, for all clubs. So we feature lots of different influencers on there and fans on there from clubs. Like, you know, you'll have Chelsea fans on there and you'll have Man United, and you've got everybody on there. You know what I mean? One of the main presenters is a Tottenham fan, you know, so it's a place where we all come together and discuss football, and it's really flying at the moment, that channel. That's where, when I went to do the World Cup, it was DR that did all the World Cup content, you know. So yeah, I'm really, really buzzing about this new channel. It's really, really growing fast, and I think that, you know, some of the things that we're looking to do are going to be really revolutionary. I mean, one of the things we've started recently, started it on AFTV. I'm going to be introducing it very soon to DR. Is our sort of, we've got this method which you can call in to any of our shows. So like, for instance, after the game, fans on AFTV can call in just through our app. Really, really simple process, and they can come on live and speak about the game. And so basically you're giving fans anywhere across the UK, anywhere across the world who haven't been to the game, a chance to have their say as well. And it's been working incredibly, incredibly well. And we're going to roll that out onto DR soon as well. And I just think that there's going to be no platform soon that has as many fan voices on it as our one. You know what I mean? It's all about giving as many fans as possible a chance to have their say about the game.
Favourite player? Last couple for you. If you had one player, Arsenal player, who is it? Who's your man?
Well, it's Thierry Henry for me. You know, I just love watching him play, the style he played with, the goals, just everything about him. You know what I mean? He was just my favourite player.
And also the last one for you. Where are we? Just in February. Are you beginning? When you sit down for your production meetings, if you have production meetings, do you say, lads, what are we going to do when we win the title? Just, you know, because you've got to prepare, haven't you? Just in case. Have you got anything special up your sleeve?
Oh, I don't want to reveal. I don't want to. we've sort of had some conversations.
Hey.
We said, like, but the way we sort of do it is, what if we win the league? What would we? So we do it in that sort of way, because we don't want to get ahead of ourselves either, you know, because it could all come crashing down. But I don't know. I kind of think we're gonna sustain this run. Whether it's going to be enough to get us over the line, but I feel we'll sustain this. I think we're a very good side. So, you know, and if we do win it, we'll be doing some big things. I can tell you that, you know. Honestly, you know,
spoken like a true football fan. Hey, Rob, thanks for joining us. All the very best to you. All the best to Arsenal for the rest of the season.
Thank you for having me, and get me back when we win it, hopefully.
Brilliant, we will do. We'll hold you to that. Brilliant, mate. Thanks.
Thank you.